Good morning, everybody. This is Charles at Paladin. Appreciate you guys coming and watching today. Wanted to do a quick thing and check and make sure that you can hear me, see me, all that good stuff. And if you can hear me and you can see the first screen that says creating batch one-off BinTags, item labels, and signs, please give me a raise of your hand. I only need it from a couple of you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Katie, Nancy, appreciate it. Janelle, we've got a large crowd today, which is wonderful. I know we had a little snafu in signing up. Sorry about that. We are going to get started here. We'll start with a quick introduction. Charles Owen. I've been with Paladin about 10 years, and I am going to be talking about creating batch one-off bin tags, item tags, and labels today, and as well as signs. So this is going to be kind of one of those cross between a presentation and a demo. I'll be mainly giving you a presentation showing you all the screens, how to get in and maneuver around the system. And if you can't make it for all of the meeting, you can always sign in later on under portal.paladinpos.com/webinars, and you can watch this webinar event beginning probably tomorrow. It takes us about 24 hours to post it. So let's get started. So what you'll learn today is I'll be going through the LTSR catalog and the terminology. This is a very powerful tool that is at your where you can access it anytime you like, and it's at your disposal. And it will be it's got a lot of information in it that's going to show you all the different label types that we support, all the printer types that we support. It is a must-have document, and you can load it directly from this presentation, download it onto your system, and have it for reference in the future. You can always get a hold of it in the knowledge base as well. Then we'll learn about how to print labels and tags, how to print sales signs. Also, default, we're going to look at the setup for setting up your default tag styles and default printers, very important to do, as well as going through and looking at printing some item tag labels. By the way, if you have any questions during the presentation, just go ahead and type it in the little questions box that you'll see on your screen. And we can get to those probably closer to the end of the presentation. Okay, so available labels, tags, and signs in the LTSR catalog. So LTSR stands for labels, tags, signs, and reports, hence the name LTSR catalog. You can get to it by going to info.paladinpos.com/LTSR_catalog.pdf. You see it right here on your screen, or you can get in there through the knowledge base, search for LTSR, search for item tags, sales signs, that sort of thing. And once you get to, you'll see something about labels, tags, signs, and reports. There's a link in there also to generate the LTSR catalog. I'll just jump to it real quick. I've got a link right here. I'm going to click on this picture here, and it's going to bring up my document. So you can see my document on the screen here. So it starts out with the table of contents, shows you that we have multiple pages of bin tags, shelf tags, quantity break tags, sales tags, item tags, outdoor tags, as well as labels, and the different labels and the different sales signs, as well as reports. So it's about 30+ pages. If we go down through page number 1, you can see that we show a nice example of the different tags that we do support. We have over 33 of them today, from the sticky tags, which are bin tag labels, or the shelf tags, which are those shelf tags, or those tags that do not have a adhesive backing. They're more of a hard stock that slips into the plastic. So those are the different types. I can just show you, this is just one screen, but if I scroll down here, I'll scroll down all the way through to shelf tags. Shelf tags are depicted in a gray color. Again, these are the non-sticky ones. They're a little bit bigger. They're 1 1/4 by 2 versus 1 by 2, which are the bin tag labels. Most of the printers support these, but some of them don't, so you got to be careful. All right, so that's the LTSR catalog, very important. What we'll do here is we'll look at and kind of dissect this for you and share with you the terminology in the catalog. So the first thing that you'll see is a description as well as a sample of the actual label. So this has the words where that information would be. For example, your location code or location name would be right there where it says location, and of course, order quantities. You can have a number there, description of your product, the price field, and so on and so forth. We also have the full specification, so we name each of the tags so you can identify them when you go to Paladin and want to print. We also have a tag size, in this case 2 by 1 inch, and a full description: adhesive label, prints on label stock, barcode 39 containing alternate part number. And then in addition to that, what are these little dots down below, these little different colored dots? Well, those are the available colors. In this case, on the laser printer, it comes in yellow, gray, and white. On the desktop printer, it comes in those as well as red, and same with on the portable. It also comes in red, white, gray, and yellow. All right, so some of the tags are designed only for certain printers, so do check the catalog for the supported printer types. That's very important. Moving on. It's here, it shows you a printer type, laser, desktop, portable, as well as the part numbers. Now, this is important to know. When you're in Paladin ordering the labels, please match up this part number with the item that you are ordering so that we don't get it wrong. All right, to continue on, so supported printer types for the bin tags, shelf tags, and item tags. So I show you a little picture of a printer. On the far left, we've got a laser printer. It supports the full sheets. We can print item tags, bin tags, as well as shelf tags in that printer. Same with this, the center one, which is the dedicated bin tag label printer. This is something that can sit anywhere in your store as a stationary, and you can print directly from the Paladin system or from your RF terminal to this particular printer. On the right, you've got the portable printer, which attaches to your RF gun or your RF terminal, and it's also capable of printing bin tags, shelf tags, and item tags. But when it comes to shelf tags and item tags, do check and make sure that the printer that you're ordering does support that. The Zebra printer, I know, does support the shelf tags and item tags, but you must be very specific when ordering that. Different printer types and paper sizes for signs. So this is a sample list of our signs. Signs will all come from the laser printer, of course. We have things like full page, half page, quarter page, and custom sizes. You'll see that those custom sizes, depending on who you buy them from, you can get them in some cases from your brand or from your co-op. Also, there are some third-party companies that provide sheets as well. Make sure that you print a test page, compare it to make sure that it actually does format to that particular page. All right. Generating the bin tag labels or batch file. So in Paladin, you can produce labels directly from the Paladin application, or you can send it to a file to format differently in Microsoft Access. So we have multiple ways to print and generate labels. In this case, in the Paladin system, if you go to reports at the top, labels, you'll see that there is a report list of labels. There's multiple different types you can print directly from Paladin. So if you notice that if you immediately want to print a bin tag on the default bin tag label printer, select from bin tag formats 1 through 33. I know there's a few numbers in there that are missing, but these are the supported types that we do support within the Paladin application. Other ones are supported in Microsoft Access. But these will print directly to that dedicated bin tag label printer using those rows of bin tags. All right, so next you can produce a bin tag information file. So you can generate your bin tag file, but it's not actually going to produce anything until you bring up the Microsoft Access application and run the labels from there. And there you can pick the different formats that you want to print from the Microsoft Access. We'll demonstrate that a little bit further later on here. There's also a sale tag format that we put in here on the bottom, so you can generate a sale tag. So it'll produce a price for the standard cost as well as for the sale price. All right, moving on, generating bin tag labels or a batch file. So to generate them, once you select which one you want to produce, whether it's bin tag number 1, 2, 3, or 4, or it's a bin tag file. Either way, it's going to give you some report settings. So you can determine whether or not you have a range of part numbers, departments, suppliers, class, subclass, and location. Or go directly to the additional settings and do a print all, which would print a label for every 10,000s of labels that you have in your store, or products that you have in your store. Or you can limit it to just items that require bin tag labels. Anytime you change a feature within a bin tag, it will automatically flag that item to be printed upon batch printing. So that's what's happening there. So if your prices change, either you manually change them or through electronic data interchange or EDI, they're changed, it will flag that item to be printed during the batch process. If you do not ever reset bin tag flags, you see that third item down there. If you do not reset bin tag flags, it will continue to accumulate and accumulate and accumulate these check boxes, meaning every time you generate labels, you're going to generate the new ones as well as the old ones if you limit it to items that require bin tags. So you have to know what you're doing in this case. You want to make sure that if you are using that feature, definitely choose reset bin tag flags when you run that particular report setting. Also, if you do print changes since, that's going to be your safest, right? So let's say you get an EDI file and it's made, 400 price changes, and it's a maintenance file. You can check print changes since, go with a few minutes before you actually received your EDI, and it will produce just those items that had the prices changed. Now, there's a little bit more to this in the settings file under file setup. And the company tab in your back office system, you have an opportunity to identify which event will actually spark or spawn that checkbox to print later. You can limit it just to prices, or you might say if the description changes, if the location changes, if other things change, also earmark that to be printed or flag that to be printed later. All right. The bin tag file is actually stored in the Paladin in your terminal, on your terminal under Paladin POS/export/bintaginfo.txt. If you have any doubts about writing over your bin tag file, before you go ahead and hit reset bin tag flags, you can always go into that and just create a copy of that bin tag file and call it backup, just in case you overwrite something that you didn't mean to overwrite. Kind of a advanced thing, but it's there if you choose to use it. All right, creating a one-off bin tag from the inventory module. So that was batch. Now we're looking at, I just want one label. I just want a simple label for my item. Well, you can do that at any time. Just call up an inventory item. You go to inventory, go to the general tab, and within there, you bring up an item. On the far right-hand side, it says print bin tag. It's actually a little bit higher than that. There's 3 options there: print bin tag, print item tag, and print sign. You can do those 3 from right here. And print bin tag will actually produce a label right at that moment on your dedicated label printer. Generating a one-off bin tag from the RF gun. So you can be going down your aisle scanning products. Anytime it stops at that price field, you can hit the pound and enter key, and it will produce a bin tag label on the dedicated label printer and or your HIP printer if you purchased one of those. Now, one thing to note is when you first go into the RF gun, it's going to ask you, hey, do you want to print them automatically? Do you want to print them for every item you touch? Probably not. Or just items that you change the price on. Yeah, that sounds like it makes sense. So you don't even have to print the pound key if you just want them to spew out every time you print or every time you change the price. So that's another option you can set when you go into your RF terminal. Printing batch labels from the bin tag information file. So here we go. So we've gone ahead, we produced our bin tag file, right? This is the one that doesn't actually produce a bin tag. It just creates a file and it slams all those items into a file. And from here, now you can print them. So what you do is you go to help on the, you go to reports on the top. You go to MS Access Reports, and from there, it will prompt bring up the Access Report menu here, which shows item tags, bin tags, shelf tags, so on, all the way down. And then once you go into that, select BinTags, and then you have 33 different BinTags to choose from. And then from there, you can go in, you can set your sort order, and then click Run to run your process. Right? Now, if you don't have access on your terminal, this is not going to come up. You need to have that Microsoft Access license on whatever terminal you're producing these BinTags from. That is a must. It is required. And you can get those by either subscribing to the Office suite of products, or you can go out and just buy the Access application and load it on your system. I think we load it automatically when you buy Paladin on at least one of the terminals, and it's good for so many days. And then from that point forward, you've got to either sign up, either with Microsoft or Paladin, or buy the license, and you just need a license key to unlock that. It's pretty inexpensive, and it is a very powerful tool. We use it for a lot of different things besides BinTag labels, also item tag labels, signs, reports, and other things as well. So if you want to confirm that you have the latest copy of Microsoft Access templates, it's very important. You just go to maintain on that top line. So if you look up here, to the left of reports is tasks, to the left of tasks is maintain. Click on maintain, then click on download, and then click on Microsoft Access templates. It takes just a couple of seconds, and you'll have the new latest Microsoft Access templates on there. It should happen when you get an update, but there are other updates that come out on Microsoft Access, like different custom reports and labels that might not appear until that update happens. So at any time you can do that. Also, if you have a problem, let's say you look at your sheets and there's no barcode, just has a number. Well, that's a problem. Re-download the Microsoft Access templates, and that will take care of it. It'll add the barcodes right into that document again. All right, generating one-off sales signs. So now we've talked about bin tags and shelf tags. Now, as far as generating one-off sales signs, so in the inventory module, you can go right to that general tab, bring up an item, go to the general tab, and click on print sign. And what will happen at that point is it'll prompt you with a screen. Now, this is what happens when you go to generate signs, because it can only actually produce the signs in Microsoft Access. What we're doing here is we're building a file, just like we were building that bin tag file. We're now going to build a file of items, sale items, that we wish to print in a signed format using the Microsoft Access templates. So here it says export data signs. You'd put a start date, an end date, you put any text that you want in there for the sign, and then very importantly, down below it says append to the file or overwrite the file. Again, this file is saved under the exports under Paladin POS/export/salessign.txt. That information file can be, again, you can go in there, you can save a backup if you're afraid to write over the data. But even if you do, it's really easy just to regenerate that sales file. But in this case, you'll probably want to append it because you probably have multiple signs that you're doing. Or if this is a brand new sale and you want a brand new set of signs, the first time you run a one-off, you're going to hit overwrite file. That will wipe out the file, and just this one sale will go in that file. Then if you go in and you click on 10 more of these things, you're going to use append because it's just going to continue to build and build and build that file. All right, let's continue. Generating sale signs from the sale list. So you have an opportunity, whether you knew this or not, to go into any sale list and click a button that says print signs. Now, the first thing you want to do is go to, on the top, File, Setup. Then you're going to go into Sale List, and that's going to bring up this particular form. And here's where you create all your sales, right? Or they come down through EDI right here. And the sales name down below, you have the different items that are in that sale with the different set prices. And if you want to generate signs here, you just print this button, print sign. And what will happen? Same deal. It's going to come up and say, what's your start date of the sale? What's your end date of the sale? Do you have any text you want to put in here? And again, do you want to append the file, meaning add these items to your sale list, or overwrite? And oftentimes when you're doing a sale list like this, you're overwriting because you might have tens or hundreds of items in the sale list where you're going to produce signs, and you don't want to reproduce the signs that have already been produced previously. All right, so once you generate the signs, it'll create it. All right, so printing sale signs. So that just created the file. Now to print the signs. just like with some of the bin tag formats. And in all of the cases where you have an 8.5 by 11 full sheet of labels, those are all printed in Microsoft Access. Printing sales signs is the same deal, right? You go up here to, on the top, you go to Reports, you go to Microsoft Access Templates. It's going to pop up the same screen that it popped up for the bin tags. Now you just select sales signs, the blue sales sign down below. It's going to pop up the different sales signs that are available to you. Go through, look at them. You can print samples and look at them. You don't even have to print them. You can display them on the screen and determine if that's the item that you want. You can also add logos. If you notice that second screen that says signs, the one in the middle, it says add logo. You click on that, you can put your logo in there, and now the logos will appear on your signs. So pretty cool. Next, you can produce either small, medium, or large signs. Now, this isn't true for every sales sign because some of them are very custom. But in this case, the default ones, small means print a quarter page, meaning print 4 on a page. Half page is medium, and then a full page would be large. And it'll produce the standard sale price and the retail price on the label. All right, I'll show you a sample of some of those in a minute. Default printer setup for bin tag labels. So now we're getting into some of the setup because it's important to understand and know that when you go and create a one-off bin tag in the inventory module, well, what format is it using? It doesn't give me a choice to pick at that point because I'm just doing a one-off bin tag. Or let's say you're on the RF terminal, and you want to print a bin tag there. What bin tag is it printing? Well, you have an option here, again, to go into the back office, File Setup. You're going to see under the Network tab where you have a dedicated label printer. So you just set up your label printer here, which you're going to use. And then for an RF attached printer, you can also set up a dedicated printer for that as well. Okay, that's how to set up your default printers. Now, what about setting up default bin tags, right? So again, go into File, Setup, go into, in this case, we are in the Company tab. And in the Company tab, you can set up your RF printer bin tag style. And that will determine the bin tag file for that. All right, so that is the default printer style for the RF printer. This is the default. Again, you go into File Setup, also under that Company tab, and you're going to go into set up default bin tag style. So you notice to the left it says tag styles, up above it says RF terminals. So that's how you distinguish between the RF gun and an actual bin tag setup. In this case, your default bin tag style you can set here. It's set up to bin tag format number 9. All right, so that's how you set up your default bin tag for your dedicated printers. All right, printing item tag labels. So this is a little bit different. This is our last topic we're talking about today. We have default item tag printer label and settings are all the same in the same locations as you saw for the bin tag. You'll notice if we go back to those windows, it says item tag defaults, item tag printer, and that sort of thing. And we can set that up as well. This is an excerpt of one of the pages in the LTSR catalog showing you the different samples, and we have literally dozens of these different item tags that you can set up. And they have things like price, part number, or price, part number description, or barcode, part number description, no price. I mean, and they're multiple sizes as well. A lot of people just go with the standard item tag number 6, which is a 2 by 1 inch. So you can use the exact same labels you're using for bin tags for the item tags. Or you can go with a 1 by 1 or 7 1/8 by 3/4. It all depends on what fits best for you. We support all those different formats. One thing you'll want to know about item tag labels, it's kind of neat because you can go in and receive an EDI report, and if you wanted to put a tag on everything that came in, there's a button down there that says generate an item tag file. Okay, that's great. It's going to create a label for every, so if you bring 12 of something in, it's going to produce 12 item tag labels. It's intended so that you put a tag on each and every item that you bring in. So we do support that. But one thing you have to know before doing this, because the first time you try this, you're going to go, well, how come I didn't get any labels? Well, if you notice in Paladin, it says, the note here says, to be included in batched item tag print process, an item must have the item tag required checkbox selected in the inventory module under the General tab. So I'll jump out to that real quickly and show you what that might look like. So let me just jump to the Paladin system. And if I go into, hold on here, let me go back here. So let me go to inventory. From inventory, I'll jump into an item. And from an item, I'll go to General. And notice on the General tab down below where it says Print Bin Tag, this checkbox is checkboxed because an item, something changed in the price, right, for the bin tag labels, or the description, or the class, or the location, whatever you determine. In the print item tag, it's a different checkbox. This means, yes, produce an item tag for this particular item when I request it. If this box is not checked, it will never print an item tag for this item. So we did this in the case that you might have 10% of your products that you want to put stickers, item tag stickers on, but you don't want them on the rest of the stuff, like the lawn mowers and the, and all the hammers and everything. You just want them on a certain class of item. You can go ahead and check this box and just produce item tags for those items that are required. All right. I'll also show you under File Setup, since I'm in here, I'll just kind of show you briefly the back office system as we talked about, where you do your setups. So we're going to set up, if we go to Network tab, you can see under the Network tab, this is your different report printers, your laser printers, your receipt printers, then you have dedicated label printer. So you just click on this little 3 dots, and once you click on that, it'll jump out to the network. It'll give you a list of all the printers that you have on your network and allow you to select the printer of choice. And you can just select the printer. That's a bin tag label printer, and now it'll be set forever as the default. Okay. All right, next you have your, below that, you have the RF attached printer. You can set that as well. You can set it up to whatever attached printer that you have to that RF gun. If you do not have an attached printer, it will automatically, when you produce labels from the RF gun, will automatically jump to the default for your label printer. All right, so you don't have to have a printer attached to the RF gun. It's just really convenient having it on your hip. We go into reports. Under labels, you can see this is where you have the different label formats. And if I wanted to create a bin tag information file, I can go here to the next step, bin tag information file, set my report settings if I want to do it for a particular brand or class or subclass or location. And then here's where I can limit it to items that require it and also reset the bin tag flags. So again, just kind of a practical sense of where you go and what you're doing. If I wanted to actually produce labels right now, I would select bin tag formats 1 through 33. And if I selected any one of these, it would produce a bin tag immediately on that dedicated label printer. Versus, if I go to bin tag information file, it'll create a file. And then I go into reports, Microsoft Access templates, as I described in the presentation. And here you bring this up. And then you select whether you want item tags, bin tags, shelf tags, and so on. So if I say bin tag, see I've got a list of 32 different bin tags to choose from the Access window. And from there, I select bin tag 1, and I can set my primary or secondary sort options, or I can just say run. And it will produce for me a file, or produce for me a label, actually, a page of labels. You'll see it momentarily. Formulating, and I have a lot in here. And this shows you 40 on the page. So now I can just print these. I can go up and hit print data, print this sheet, and make sure you've got printer paper in there. What I like to do also is put in regular paper and do one sheet and just hold it up to the light with your sample label sheet and just make sure all the edges work perfectly. And that's kind of a good guess. Now, sometimes if you don't see the barcode here and you just see numbers, again, you're going to want to re-download the Microsoft Access templates. You just go to Maintain, Download, Microsoft Access templates, signs and labels, and it'll automatically download it. All right, back to the presentation, and to finish up here, there is some information where you can get some more information. There's lots of articles we have in Knowledge Base, but about bin tags and shelf tags, the middle item here, it shows all the different available knowledge base articles for bin tags, shelf tags, sales, and signs. Also, 5 reasons why labels are important. We wrote a news article that you can see and find. There is a link here to that article, but more than likely it's under the Paladin website. If you go to Retail Science, you'll see that article there. And then the actual LTSR catalog link is here for you as well. All right, so as you know, you can always download this webinar and watch it at any time from the portal.paladinpos.com/webinar site. And also we have information in there about our spring release. Now, one thing before we sign off, next 2 weeks from now, on August 20th, we're going to have another webinar on the most effective reports to manage your business. So these are reports that you may or may not be using on a regular basis. We're just going to show you some hints and tips and some advice on getting the information you need to run your business, and that's on Tuesday, August 20th. All right. I don't see any questions. I'm going to give you guys a few seconds here if you want to write some questions. We do have a lot of attendees here, which is wonderful, especially at the late notice. And if you shoot me any questions, we'll go ahead and answer those questions. I'll give you a minute here. All right, so if you've got any questions written, send them now so I can at least get started on them. All right then. Well, listen, I really thank you for your time. I know you're busy, and your time is somewhat valuable and limited. So I appreciate you coming and spending time with me today. Hopefully this was helpful. You learned a lot, and do stay tuned and tune into our next webinar a couple weeks from now. And now signing off. We'll see you guys next time.